Hello, and welcome to the Women of the FGC Tekken Edition, where we highlight various women in the community and discuss their successes. I am Cuddlecore, and I'm a professional Tekken 7 player for Equinox Gaming. And today we're going to be interviewing Aliciaxlife, the owner of Team AXL, along with being a Tekken and Soul Calibur World Tour commentator. And I'm so happy to have her here with me today. How are you doing, Alicia?
I am fantastic, Cuds. I am having a wonderful sunshiny day and ready to jump into things with you.
Wonderful. So let's just get into it. Just give us a little bit of info about you. Where did you start playing fighting games? How old were you? How did you get involved in the scene?
Wow, how old was I? I definitely started like, I could barely even hold a controller would be the best way to put it. My dad would sit me on his lap and he would bust out not just one console, but multiple consoles. But I guess the game that really made me fall in love, where I could physically hold the controller for myself, would have been Tekken 2. Tekken 2 definitely is what got me in for the original PlayStation. And that game was like falling in love for the first time. It was sweet and heartache because my sister and I were so competitive growing up. It also is what got me into the arcade scene. We would travel 45 minutes out just to play against 30-year-old guys in arcades, and it was just such an invigorating experience, lining up your quarters and, you know, sometimes money matching people just so I could stay on, because, like, you know, I was a kid without money, man. Like, fighting people for those quarters meant something, because that means I could play longer. It was the coolest thing, and to grow up in that environment just meant the world to me.
Young Alicia going in the arcade, popping in a quarter, you know, challenging these adults. I mean, from such an early age, you were still just so competitive and very involved with fighting games. And I love that you mentioned Tekken 2. It's a classic. It's a classic.
It is such a classic. Oh my god. That's the thing, right? Was that when it came to playing like the classics, old heads have no mercy, right? And to this day, they got no mercy. And we love that. We love that because going to those arcades, you think like, oh, these old dudes and like this 8-year-old kid. No, they taught me the lesson of, you know, you're gonna get cooked and you're gonna learn from getting cooked. And it was incredible. My dad, same thing. My dad says, I don't care what age you are, you're gonna catch this smoke 101, you know? And he taught me like the true roots of what the FGC is really about. And you don't get handouts here. Like, you gotta work hard to get your win. You gotta work hard to understand, to learn, and to better yourself. Made me kind of the person I am today. And in those arcades, my gender didn't matter. They didn't care what gender I was. They just wanted to play the game. And I loved that. It just taught me so much about just how good you are means more than anything else. Just being at those arcades and those events meant a lot to me growing up and being in that sort of offline environment. But when it came to tournament play, when it came to actually going to majors, that more so happened when I moved to Toronto, which was about 5 years ago or so. And when I came here, I realized they didn't have an arcade scene, really. Like, they had, like, offline locals and stuff, which I started going to instantly as soon as I got here. But missing the arcade scene and the arcade culture, like, hurt a part of me. It felt like I was missing a part of myself. And that made me want to dive into actually going to majors and going to larger events and being like, all right, what's this all really about?
So you start to go to offline tournaments. What was the moment that made you realize that you want to commentate then? Because you started as a competitor.
I guess the switch kind of happened when I started talking way more to people and I started talking way more about the games that I'm passionate about. And when I went to like a lot of majors and stuff and people play casual sets or even money matches, people would ask me questions after if they lost. They'd be like, hey, what did I do here? What could I have done differently? Like, what's going on here? Can you watch me play this set? Like, especially since I was a character specialist with Eddie. I was breathing Tekken. I was in Tekken. Tekken was my entire crutch growing up. Tekken held me in its arms like a baby. Tekken raised me. And Tekken I have a tattoo of, with a matching tattoo with my sister of. Like, you know, Tekken's literally in my blood. I just love the games. And if I have the opportunity to show off players and to talk about their stories, that means the world to me. Like, for example, the first time I commentated Tekken World Tour Stop was one of the first things I did. Before you played in top 8 of that tournament. What did I do? I walked up to every single person and I asked you guys, what do you guys, like, tell me about what you are looking forward to going to this top 8. Who's your hardest competition?
I remember that too. I think a lot of the time, pro players are kind of seen as like these robots, or we're our personas, we're our brands, but that's not the only thing that we are. Even when we're talking about like female players as well, how important that is. I really feel like sometimes we kind of get judged the moment we sit down. And the fact that you can ask, like, hey, how are you feeling about this? Hey, how are you feeling about that? It gives people something to connect to. It makes us human. It made me human.
I feel like a lot of the time it gets assumed out of us what emotion we're feeling, or it gets assumed out of us like, oh, she must be nervous going onto stage, or oh, she must be feeling this sort of way, or they try to treat us like the underdog story. When it comes to competition, when it comes to high-level competing, understanding that yes, gender matters, like to acknowledge someone's gender, to affirm it, to discuss it, that is a great topical piece. But to define their characteristics and their gameplay or their mindset because of their gender is inappropriate behavior. And that's something I also wanted to take away from commentary.
What are some of your biggest successes in this community? Talk to me. Everything about your successes, just tell me what you're so proud of and what you've done here, because it's so much.
All right, we're gonna take my flex moment then. I guess my biggest accomplishments, my biggest successes would definitely be my top 8 at EVO. Commentating top 8 at EVO was, oh my god, I'm gonna get emotional, holy smokes.
Oh, no, please. The floor is all yours. I want you to talk about it because I know how important it was for you.
Sane versus Blue God here at EVO 2019. Ride or die situation. We are in the loser side. It's a 1st-2 match. Who will pull through? Let's get it. Amazing patience again with Mr. Raw Rising B again.
Blue controlling the base of this match, and that's gonna be it.
There you go.
Blue
God will be moving on.
Look at that.
And the tournament staying in the top 8.
Sane in the hugging it out.
I couldn't even comprehend that could ever be in my future until it became my reality. Definitely one of the biggest highlights was just the fact that I could be one of the people who like paved way for us, right? And as people of color, right? As people of darker skin, being a female up there meant the world to me.
Do you have any advice for women trying to kind of take that next step into commentary, competing, or even like tournament organizing or things like that?
Yeah, I guess my biggest advice for people who like want to go into competing, tournament organizing, and commentary, anything and all of the above when it comes to esports in general, is 1, give it your best shot, but 2 is other people are going to be in your field, in your line of work, that are going to want the same jobs as you, that are going to want the same goals as you do and the same ambitions that you do. The competition's not them. It's never been them. It's always going to be yourself 100% of the time, right? And being upset or being petty or jealous of other people's accomplishments or what they're doing doesn't matter. I started late in the scene when it came to majors, but did that mean I couldn't rise up? Did that mean I could not, powerhouse my way through? Not at all. I definitely did all of those things, but there wasn't a single time where I was like, oh man, this woman got this and I want to beat her. Like, no, it was more like oh snap, we got women in here, let's go, dude. Like, it was just like this very like upbeat, positive mentality I had. And no matter what gender you are, your competition's always gonna be yourself, always. And you'll have the illusion that there's other people going for the same thing as you. It's not true. It's just yourself. And if you don't get it, that's cool. We can just work on it for next time. And it's as simple as that.
Alicia, do you have anybody or any channels that you want to shout out?
Yeah, one shout out to my parents for being awesome and for making me, but also for my channels, I want to say make sure to check out my YouTube at Aliciaxlife. I upload there pretty much daily and also sometimes stream here on YouTube. But do check me out on Twitch. That is where I'm going to be playing fighting games yet again. I am super excited to be back into fighting games. Thank you so much for having me here, and special thank you to PlayStation for having this all become a thing. To those of you guys tuning in at home, make sure to hit the like button on this video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the PlayStation channel and comment below what is your favorite fighting game. Oh, you guys didn't think I would do an outro, did you? But yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was such a fantastic time being on here, and I really hope you guys get involved in the FGC. If you're already a part of the FGC, I hope to see you at upcoming events when they start to reopen, and or on online in general. Hopefully I get to beat your butt in ranked. Hopefully I see you there. Thanks so much for hanging out and watching in.
プレイステーション